Nepal, land of peaks, myths, and many peoples. If you've heard of Nepal, chances are the first words that come to mind are Mount Everest or Sherpas. And while those are certainly iconic symbols, Nepal is so much more than just climbers and summits. This small Himalayan republic is a kaleidoscope of cultures, a living museum of ancient traditions, and a country whose geography alone could tell 1,000 stories. A country in the clouds. Nepal is often nicknamed the roof of the world, and for good reason. About 75% of the land lies within the Himalayas, the highest and youngest mountain range on Earth. Here, villages cling to ridges like nests, rivers roar through deep valleys, and peaks pierce the sky in ways that defy imagination. Yet despite its high-altitude fame, Nepal also stretches down to the hot subtropical plains of the Terai, barely 60 meters above sea level. This means Nepal has one of the widest elevation ranges on Earth, from lowland jungles filled with rhinos and tigers to glaciers where oxygen thins. Sandwiched between India and China, Nepal has always been both shielded and squeezed by its geography. Its location has allowed it to avoid full-scale colonization, making it one of the very few countries in Asia never directly ruled by a foreign empire, yet it has been influenced, invaded, and pressured for centuries by larger neighbors. Provinces, valleys, and the capital. Modern Nepal is divided into 7 provinces. Some still go by plain numbers, Province 1, Province 2, etc., while others have adopted cultural names like Gandaki or Bagmati. This provincial system is new, it only replaced the old 14-zone system in 2015. Yet people still casually use the older zones, especially when it comes to things like license plates. The Kathmandu Valley, home to the capital Kathmandu, has been the heart of Nepal for millennia. It's a crossroads of trade between Tibet and India, a melting pot of ethnicities, and the stage for Nepal's most important historical events. Though Kathmandu is the political and cultural hub, the official provincial capital lies in Hitauda, showing how decentralization is shaping Nepal's governance. Getting into the country often means braving Tribhuvan International Airport, Nepal's busiest and once its only international gateway. To handle rising numbers of tourists and climbers, new airports are under construction, including Nijgad and Pokhara International. And for thrill seekers, there's Lukla Airport, infamously dubbed the world's most dangerous runway, perched on a cliff where pilots must take off perfectly or face a freefall. The land that keeps growing. Nepal sits right where the Indian tectonic plate collides with the Eurasian plate. That collision created the Himalayas, and it hasn't stopped. The mountains still rise by about 2.4 inches, 6.1 centimeters every year. That means Everest, known locally as Sagarmatha and in Tibetan as Komalungma, grows taller with each passing generation. Of course, this comes at a cost. The seismic activity makes Nepal earthquake-prone. The 2015 Gorkha earthquake, magnitude 7.8, devastated Kathmandu, killed thousands, destroyed centuries-old temples, and triggered avalanches on Everest that killed 21 people, the mountain's deadliest day on record. Yet Nepalis rebuilt, showing resilience that has defined their history for centuries. Layers of land. Nepal is usually divided into 3 main physical regions. The Himalayan region, towering above 4,000 meters, this is the realm of eternal snow and glaciers, with 8 of the world's 14 highest peaks, including Everest, Kanchenjunga, Lhotse, and Makalu. Sherpa villages, Buddhist monasteries, and yaks dominate this stark but spiritual land. The Pahad hill region, a middle zone of forested hills and fertile valleys. This is where much of the population lives, practicing terrace farming and building colorful villages across steep slopes. Famous trekking routes like the Annapurna circuit wind through this region. The Terai lowlands, a subtropical belt of fertile plains along the southern border. It is Nepal's breadbasket, producing rice, sugarcane, wheat, and vegetables. It's also where you'll find Chitwan and Bardya national parks, home to elephants, gharials, rhinos, and Bengal tigers. Nepal's rivers, fed by glacial melt, are lifelines. The Koshi, Gandaki, and Karnali are massive systems that irrigate fields, generate hydroelectricity, and eventually join the Ganges in India. The Bagmati, flowing through Kathmandu, is sacred to Hindus. Rara Lake, the largest in the country, shines like a sapphire among alpine meadows. People and identity. With around 30 million citizens, Nepal is one of the most ethnically and linguistically diverse countries in the world. Over 120 ethnic groups and more than 120 languages make up its social fabric. Nepali, related to Hindi, is the official language, spoken by nearly half the population. English serves as a bridge in education, business, and government. The biggest group, the Chetri, makes up about 17%. Others include the Magar, Tamang, Tharu, Gurung, Newar, Sherpa, Rai, and Limbu. Each has unique traditions, clothing, festivals, and cuisines. Religion here is equally layered. About 80% are Hindu, 10% Buddhist, and smaller communities follow Islam, Christianity, or traditional animist practices. But in Nepal, Hinduism and Buddhism often blend, temples are shared, festivals overlap, and gods are worshipped side by side. The country is famous for its Kumari tradition, where young girls are revered as living goddesses until puberty. Dashain, the longest and most celebrated festival, unites the entire nation with rituals, family gatherings, and animal sacrifices. Food, flavors, and daily life. Nepalese cuisine reflects its geography and diversity. Dal bhat, lentil soup with rice, is the everyday staple, often eaten twice a day. But every region adds its own flair. Momo dumplings, steamed or fried, filled with meat or vegetables, are beloved nationwide. Gundruk, fermented leafy greens, is a rural delicacy. Sel roti, a sweet, ring-shaped rice bread, is common during festivals. The Tharo people of the Terai are known for spicy fish curries and pork dishes. Tibetan-inspired dishes like thukpa, noodle soup, and laping, spicy cold noodles, thrive in the north. Street food culture thrives in Kathmandu, where vendors sell pani puri, aloo chaat and spicy chickpeas to students and workers on the go. Economy and challenges. Despite its natural wealth, Nepal remains a developing country. Agriculture still employs more than half the workforce, but only about one-fifth of the land is fully cultivated. Hydropower is a growing industry, with projects that could make Nepal a major energy exporter. Tourism, especially trekking and mountaineering, brings in foreign currency, but it is vulnerable to global crises like earthquakes, pandemics, or political instability. Remittances are crucial. Nearly a third of Nepal's GDP comes from workers abroad, especially in the Gulf states and Malaysia. Foreign aid still supports much of its development budget. History in brief. Nepal's story is long and complex. Neolithic settlements in the Kathmandu Valley. Mentioned in ancient Hindu texts. Kiratti dynasties ruled for centuries. The Lichavi and Mullah kingdoms fostered art and architecture. Prithvi Narayan Shah unified Nepal in the 18th century. The Anglo-Nepalese War, 1814–1816, ended with the Treaty of Sugauli, reducing Nepal's territory but preserving independence. Slavery abolished in 1924. Political struggles between monarchy and democracy in the 20th century. 2001 royal massacre shocked the world. In 2008, the monarchy was abolished, and Nepal became the world's newest republic. Today, Nepal is a parliamentary federal republic, often led by left-wing coalitions. Though its ruling parties call themselves communist, the country functions more as a democratic system than a strict socialist state. Global friends and neighbors. Diplomacy in Nepal is a balancing act. India provides most trade routes, cultural ties, and Bollywood films that dominate Nepalese screens. Yet India's political blockades have sometimes angered Nepal, pushing it closer to China. China, meanwhile, builds roads, invests in infrastructure, and funds projects like a planned railway from Tibet to Kathmandu. Other Buddhist nations, Thailand, Sri Lanka, Myanmar, and Japan, see Nepal as a holy land, sending pilgrims to Lumbini, Buddha's birthplace. Nepal has also cultivated a quiet but growing friendship with Bangladesh, sharing hydropower, trade, and education exchanges. Famous figures. From saints to sports heroes, Nepal has produced many notable people. Siddhartha Gautama, Buddha, born in Lumbini. Prithvi Narayan Shah, the unifier of Nepal. Tenzing Norgay, who with Edmund Hillary was the first to summit Everest. Araniko, a legendary 13th-century architect whose pagoda style influenced China and beyond. Bimsen Thapa, Nepal's first prime minister. Modern icons like fashion designer Prabal Gurung, cricketer Sundeep Lamakane, swimmer Gaurika Singh, and mountaineer Nirmal Nimsdai Purja, who climbed all 14 8,000ers in just over 6 months. A living paradox. Nepal is a place of contrasts. It is tiny on the map but massive in altitude. It is poor in money but rich in culture and spirit. It is Hindu yet Buddhist, traditional yet modernizing, landlocked yet globally connected. Its mountains climb endlessly skyward, but its people remain some of the most down-to-earth you'll ever meet. Nepal is not just the land of Everest, it is a land of endurance, diversity, and timeless wonder.